Starting June 1st, it will begin a new installment of the Hebrew and Bible Academy. The full 12 weeks will be concentrating on the beginning and fall of Babylon, history, the understanding of the religious aspect of Babylon, as well as what? The theme from Babylon, Rome to America. In the Academy, this is what you can look forward to. New lessons, the secret war of Edom against Israelites. But one thing we've never delved into was bringing forth the history, showing all the contentions and war Edom has waged against Israelites even until our present time. The desolation of abomination, how to calculate time according to God, and I can't wait for this lesson, Armageddon. The final war in heaven. If you've never been in the Academy, you want to be in this one. June 1st, we're in open enrollment right now. Go to historytimes.org to enroll. Hebrew and Bible Academy. You're invited. All right. Blessings, brothers and sisters. Blessings. Shalom, brothers and sisters. I'm Elder Ricard Shiar of the Gathered of Christ Church here with our weekly, you got it, Patreon broadcast. Yes, I usually come on briefly for all you YouTubers. Thank you for all you do to support the work. Just to set up what we'll be discussing on the other side through Patreon. Now, if you would like to become a Patreon member, it's simple. It's only $5 a month. Patreon.com/agathering144. You can go sign up there, and this is where you can get exclusive content that's not usually found on YouTube. Of course, we went through the censorship during the pandemic and all these others, and we segue over to Patreon because, it's a little more, lenient towards free speech, if I say so myself. So I thank you for being loyal Patreonies. We're getting people ready, prepped into going into the Sabbath. Hold on, let me cut on this air. It's hot over here. One moment. I'm sorry about that. We're about to go into the Sabbath, and yes, usually I do it through Patreon. And what we're going to be doing, I got a lot of announcements, what we'll be doing soon, and I'll give you that between now and tomorrow, next Sabbath, as far as the progression, where we're going with the church, and making sure every area has a community, a gathering, a church to attend in your respective city. So look forward to hearing that soon. And again, I'm Elder Ricard Shiar of the Gathering of Christ Church. And let me tell you what we'll be going into. One second. I'm going to make a lot of announcements concerning baptism and all that, but that will be in future broadcasts, so I can do it after I, go into the topics that are most important right now. First and foremost, I would like to say all praises be to the Most High, Ahaya, in the name of Yeshaya. For those who don't know, Ahaya is the true name of God. He's the God above any God that's worshipped in this earth, okay? Satan is the God of this world. Our God, the God of the Hebrews, is higher than Allah. He's higher than Yahweh. He created Yahweh, okay? Yahweh is another name for the Tetragrammaton, another name, folks, for the God of the Canaanites. That's right, folks. They lied. Jehovah or Yahweh. Yah means God or power. Okay, without denoting which God, whether or not it's a good or evil jinn. And I'm going to go into that in a moment. Or power. Okay. Yah means God or power, without distinguishing or having us understand what God one is referring to. Hava or Hawa is mischief, wickedness, fallen. Like you see Jay-Z with Hova. That's right. Hova is mischief, wickedness, and the falling. You put those together. Yehovah or Jehovah. It's the God of mischief, the God of wickedness, the God of the falling. And who fell? Lucifer, the God of this world. Okay? So a lot of people out there who come up Jehovah's Witnesses, they may feel offended. Okay, they've been told for years to call on Jehovah. Listen, don't shoot the messenger. Christ revealed to everyone while he was here that many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. Don't get mad at us because the Catholic Church and these pastors lied to you. It doesn't mean the Bible isn't real. It doesn't mean God isn't real. It only means that what? We, as servants of the Almighty, didn't do our due diligence to find the true name of God. Okay? That's not the Most High's fault. Deceivers will deceive. The Bible is correct. All right? It was upon us to go into the Bible and find out where in the Bible did God actually tell Moses his name. Period. If you believe the God you serve who sent Christ also sent Moses to deliver the children of Israel out of Egypt, if you believe in that God and you believe that's the God you're praying to, well, understand he gave his name to Moses. Exodus, the 3rd chapter, and his name is Ahiah. Period. Period. It have nothing to do with how you feel. It's not a title for him. If you say, yeah, it ain't no title. His name is Ahiah. Moses asked him, what is the name that I can tell our people in Egypt? The Egyptians have many gods over there. Are you one of those? Could it be you're one of those? Okay. And the Most High says, no, I am that I am. Tell them I am sent you unto them. Okay, period. Tell them Ahiah is the name. I'm the Most High, the God above the fallen gods the Egyptians serve. Period. And his son's name is Yeshua. Now, of course, before the deliverance, like he did us coming out of Egypt, he's doing it again. He's letting everyone know to get on board before judgment. The same way when we came out of Egypt, he revealed his name so that there's no excuse, whether or not you're a Muslim, Christian, or what have you. Okay? His name is Ahiah. Anybody have any questions with that? Take it up with the Most High. A lot of people get mad at me and get upset at me because I just show them what's out of the Bible. And you know what? Since they can't refute it, they'll come back and state, well, okay. They can't refute it, so they'll say, well, Yahweh is the same thing. Liar. They'll say, well, no, he was just giving him his name in the first person, in the second person, and his name is Ahiah in the first person, and it's Yahweh in the second person. The Most High isn't bound by time or space. The Most High is a spirit. So what are you talking about? So he's going to grammatically fit into your narrative on earth. So to satisfy the lie you've been taught that his name is Yahweh. And then people will say, well, hold up. What about Judah's name? Yahweh. Well, when you look at the language in the letters, that has nothing to do with whether or not it's related to the Most High's name. Yahweh is Judah. Okay? When you translate that in the Hebrew, it has nothing to do with Yahweh being related to Yahweh. Grammatically, when you look at the letters, one has nothing to do with the other. So let's end it there. Now, there's so much I want to talk about since I started with Egypt. I wanted to start off with the ancient Egypt plan to purge our people. The ancient Egypt plan to purge God's people, those who believe in Christ, those who believe in God. The purge is on. Now, there's a few things I want to go over. And again, on the other side, if you would like to call in, if you would like to come in through Zoom and we can resume from last Wednesday when it comes to the witches and warlocks, because that's all in play in what I'm talking about right here. Right? Us coming out of Egypt, the Most High warned us about witches and warlocks and sorcerers because the politicians and the people of Egypt were straight pagan. Okay? They practice sorcery, witchcraft, sex magic through homosexuality. That was the way of life amongst the upper Egyptian politicians. Okay? And hey, I don't believe it's a coincidence that what? I don't believe it's a coincidence that they have the what? The Great Pyramid on the dollar bill for the New World Order. Okay? Symbolism is very important with them. It's quite important. Okay? It's a secret message in plain sight that most people ignore. There's symbolism. These idiots in the world don't really understand. These citizens are dumb. We're letting them know that we're the same people we're the same powers who've enslaved the children of Israel in ancient Egypt. Same model. See? The same people who are enslaved over here, that's right, folks, are from the ancestry of the lost tribes of Israel. So they'll play in your face. You got the pyramids, but you haven't put two and two together. They're using the same model that kept our people enslaved in ancient Egypt. You know, of course, it become a little sophisticated with the technology, but it's the same model. And we're the same people who were enslaved in Egypt. Therefore, they're going to use the same tactics that kept us under their power. Right? Now, what do I mean by that? And we're going to unpack a lot of that on Patreon. First and foremost, I'm wondering, why is Joy Reid, the politicians, and others, why are they stomping 10 toes down for immigration? Now, immigration in of itself is okay, right? Well, what do I mean by that? Immigration in of itself, allowing citizens to become a part of another country. We must put the world must put that in place. Why? To stave off chaos and keep the order in respect of its citizenry. Right? I need y'all to think about that. Whether people agree or disagree, every country, if they had their borders wide open, that would be a sign of what? Hostile takeover. Common sense. So there is some order that comes with a country maintaining the sovereignty of their citizens by making sure that everyone coming to the country, you have to figure out whether or not they're outside spies, whether or not they're looking to destabilize the cohesion of the country they're coming into when it comes to the people who warred, bled, and died for their particular land. They have to make sure that no one is coming in to disrespect the integrity of their laws. So all in all, to have an immigration process in place is good. I need y'all to think about that. But we need to, hold on, let me put this phone on. Let me put this phone down. Why are the so-called Democrats, and I'm going to show you the Republicans is behind this too. Why is the Democrat so hell-bent on allowing illegal people that are undocumented? And what does that have to do with Egypt, ancient Egypt? Well, folks, listen to this and listen good. The Democrats realize, and this is, hold on 1 second. 1 second. Let me turn that off. The Democrats realize, and the Republicans also, that the children of Israel in America, mainly Judah, has awakened. See? Now, what does that have to do with immigration? Let me tell you, folks, if there weren't any mail-in ballots during that first election with Biden, the Democrats would have never gotten back in office. Our people realized that the Democrats were always used to destroy our people from the inside. And we figured that out after Barack Obama. We were off the political farm. And the only way they can get us engaged is to some level of provocation that would lead to us marching in the streets. So they would play on our sensitivities and our emotions to get us triggered to support Democrats, not because they did anything for our people, mainly because they would want us to play the race card. See? Now listen to this. The children of Israel is coming around full circle. They realized that we weren't going to vote for them anymore. Well, folks, if we don't vote for the Democrats, that topples the whole system. Democrats and Republicans. It's two sides playing against the middle. So all of a sudden, and I have a Japanese study of how many American citizens, they did an outside independent study on how many people died in the United States after they were convinced to go with the solution after the lockdowns, when everyone was opened up and they told us that we can open up and we can go back to normal if you just break down and get the stuff. The numbers are in. Now, how does that all coincide together politically and what I'm talking about right now? Well, they knew we weren't going to vote. for them. The Democrats. The Democrats are the enemies of God. They're straight up Satanists. Not to say the Republicans aren't, but at least the Republicans on the surface presents themselves as the more moral, God-believing, traditional party. Well, the Democrats, they don't hide behind anything. They're just straight Satanist. Okay? Now, how do they even their democracy? You kept hearing the Democrats say, well, if Trump get in, it's going to be a threat to democracy, threat to democracy, threat to democracy. What were they talking about? America is a republic, right? It should represent the people, right? That's more code speak. Listen to me. The only way they can even the playing field was to get rid of as many as people as we could while things was locked down, so that they can have another voter base to make what? Their democracy even. On either side, there's a chance for the Democrats to win as well as the Republicans against the middle. And because we're not playing ball no more, we aren't deceived by their tactics anymore. Folks, they're going 10 toes down with immigration. Illegal immigration. See? And we kept on wondering, why haven't they been this adamant in getting policies passed to help our people, the children of slaves who built the country? I've never seen them this adamant about people that's not even documented. Like, what's going on? You don't even know who these people are. And you care more about them than the people who built the country. And you notice they fail when these questions are brought up. They fail to give an answer every time. They know exactly why they're stomping 10 toes down for the illegals. Because the illegals are the replacements. They're the new enemies as a buffer class to destroy the children of Judah here in America. That's why. And the corporations are all together in lockstep. Corporations were made to show a profit at the end of every fiscal year. Well, how do you show a profit? You get rid of American citizens because you're obligated under what? Certain labor laws that you must have in place for citizens. Certain jobs, you have to make sure the insurance is right. You have to make sure that the raises go up every percentage, a percentage, few percentages each year. The retirement is in place, right? The retirement is in place. You have to now put in all this money for citizens because why? Folks, they have skin in the game. Here being born, here died in many wars. They have skin in the game. So these people in America have died for the rights of their children to be treated better while working. So now the Democrats and the Republicans and the corporate structure reviewed this and say, well, okay, we can't pay these people no more and turn a profit. Let's bring in these people who are undocumented and or illegal, people we can hold something over their head, that now we can tear up all the contracts that we have with people that are citizens and make new laws that won't obligate us to treat these illegals like we would have to legally treat the citizens. Right? We can inundate each city with so many people that it drive down the wages, being that there's no jobs. And it will press upon the blacks, the tribe of Judah in the community. Listen to me. I'm going to show you where I'm going. Be patient with me. It's going to drive down the wages for the people that are in the city. And we'll have the people who are illegal work for almost nothing. And don't go for that garbage. What? Go for that garbage. We need some people to pick our fruit and work, and work in the fields. That's straight garbage. When you go into these cities, all the jobs that our people used to have, that's right, folks. Other people who can't even speak English are working it. So don't go for that. If that was the deal, it would be an agreement to state, okay, it's fine for them to come over and work under a work status if all they have to do is work the farms. Is that the agreement? So watch when they're lying to you, but really what they're doing is they're trying to fast track the citizenry of these illegals so that they can attack the wages of our people. So that now at any time they'll trigger you on the job to get you fired, knowing that they are incentivized to replace that person with an illegal or someone from another country. And yes, brothers and sisters, I had a phone call earlier. Listen to this. Listen to what they're doing. The corporations has a memo that they are incentivized with financial kickbacks if they hire an immigrant or a non-citizen. Not only aren't they responsible for the retirement, health insurance, and all of this, the corporations are getting what? They are getting extra money for hiring illegals. And that's right, folks. They're getting corporate kickbacks for it. So it's incentivized to get rid of citizens. And how did we find this out? Listen to this. Any little thing you do wrong, they'll fire you and they'll replace you with someone who looks like you, but is from somewhere else. Therefore, no one can claim the corporation is racist. Right? So how was this found out? Well, there's letters floated around amongst the illegals or the immigrants. And if you're out there, you've been following the church and want to confirm this, you can come on in and you can stay anonymous if you would like and tell everyone whether or not I'm telling the truth. You know how, brothers and sisters, when we were working in the corporate world, if we bring in some extra people as a referral, that the company would give us a what? A referral bonus. Listen to this, folks. That's why a lot of managers from other countries that are now working in these corporate jobs, when they fire one of us, they automatically replace us with one of their people. Not just because they have a problem with us. That's not it. They're getting referral checks for bringing in their cousins or someone outside the country. They're getting referral checks for it. If they were to refer you as an American citizen, a black person, they wouldn't get anything. The referral bonuses are coming in if they can get their cousin, their aunt, their sister, or their friends to come over, and they're calling them from over there, telling them how to get here with a job waiting, and they're getting extra what? Referral money to slight American citizens, but they must get the American citizens fired. Now, what is that model? The Egyptian plan to purge Americans. That means our people who built the country must walk on eggshells to keep a job. We must walk on eggshells just to keep a roof over our heads, just to keep food on the table. And this is what happens when you pack a country with non-documented people. It's simply supply and demand. The more you have of something, it drives down the wages or the cost of something. And now your manager or your supervisor, they're going to get smart with you, and they're going to say, listen, you can quit. They'll make it hard for you, knowing that they'll be incentivized to replace you. And that happened in Egypt. It happened. And why am I bringing this out? People are asking, well, Elder, why are you talking politics? You don't know let me tell you, if you don't know politics, if you don't know the Bible, if you don't understand politics. The Bible states that this beast, through policy, he will destroy many. You have to understand the policies to know what their true objectives are and what that means for us living. We're living here on earth. We're living at the most prophetic time since the earth began. We're in the crux of the desolation. We're right between what? We're right between the crosshairs called Jacob trouble. And this model they're using to squeeze us slowly is in the Bible. When you go to, let me get it. When you go to Exodus, the 5th chapter, in the 18th verse. A matter of fact, let's start here. The 15th verse. Then the officers of the children of Israel came and cried unto Pharaoh, that's the government leader, saying, wherefore dealest thou thus with thy servants? Why are you treating us like this? We made Egypt great, right? It was Joseph who planned a 7-year plenteous for a 7 years famine that fed the whole Mesopotamian area. And through that, Egypt became great from our labor, our work, through our God, the same as America. So now the officers come here and say, well, Pharaoh, why are you dealing with us like this? What have we done to you? 16. There is no straw given unto thy servants. And they say unto us, make brick. And behold, thy servants are beaten. But the fault is in thine own people. But he said, ye are idle. Ye are idle. The same thing, same thing that they put on us here in America, claiming that blacks are lazy. Look at that. It's like you making our jobs harder, and you're not paying us the same wages. And now we're coming and complaining about this because, you know what? You still need your buildings and your construct in place, and we're working, and you're still making it harder for us. And instead of giving us what we needed, he started calling our people lazy. Isn't that the rhetoric we're hearing to why they need illegals who are here to actually destroy us? And again, no one have any problem with immigration. Without immigration or borders for any country, it's chaos. But no one can just walk in undocumented into another country. I've been all over the world, and what we're witnessing here, folks, simply doesn't exist. Unless it's a systematic invasion aimed towards destroying God's people. Now listen to this. But he said, ye are idle, ye are idle. Therefore say, let us go and do sacrifice to the Lord. He's saying, you want to go serve your own God. Right? You want to separate yourself from the Egyptian way. Right? And he says what? So since you don't want to be Egyptian no more, go therefore now and work. For there shall no straw be given you, yet shall you deliver the tale of bricks. What does that mean? Well, that means the work you put out, the work expectancy from your bosses cannot lack, even if the job give you less to do the work. And so how they'll do this to you, knowing that there's no jobs out there, they'll start putting a heavier workload on your 8 hours. It's the same model as Egypt. The same model, the same thing they did to us in Egypt. Wanted to kill our boys at birth, abortion, Egypt. Wanted to pay the nurses to get in on it, to kill the boys, knowing that the prophets come through the sons and the nation come through the sons. Egypt, nurses, complicit with the eugenics program. The parents would be in the room saying, listen, we don't want you to give our children anything. We good. We're naturalists. And they'll get somebody look at you to come in and try to shame you into doing what the corporate hospitals are trying to force you to do, to sell your children and to force your children to get something that possibly could lead to adverse reactions that the government doesn't have to deal with. You have to deal with now a sick or a harmed child. Egypt. So I'm putting this out there because a lot of our people, right, we're so underwater with being inundated with everything coming from us from every direction, folks. A lot of people can't put two and two together. And that's why we're here to connect the dots for you. And so therefore, you'll start hearing stuff like this, folks. You'll start hearing stuff like this. Fair use.
Do you know how many people Barack Obama deported in 8 years?
I don't know and don't care.
Well, hang on. You don't know and you don't care. You've just given me...
Because it's not the issue. You're trying to make the issue the southern border.
Joy. You've just given me... Joy. Joy.
The point is, Barack Obama was not dragging women and
let me finish.
nursing babies apart and taking...
Joy, I'm trying to finish my sentence. You've just given me a lengthy monologue attacking Donald Trump's aggressive deportation policy. And I've simply said to you, there was a Democrat. I'm simply asking, given that you're obviously all over every detail of the Trump deportation policy and given you on the airwaves in America on a daily basis?
I do not know. Sure.
Have a guess.
But it's probably more than 1 million people. I'm quite certain.
Have a
because
guess.
I think each 2 million.
Right, it was 3 million. My point being, are you as shocked by that as you are claiming to be by Trump? Many of them were brown.
Shocking. Wait a minute. Can I answer your question?
The majority were brown. Do you know?
Now I need y'all to understand, brothers and sisters, how they were able to undermine our people. They will put a face up as a taskmaster that looks like us, but is from somewhere else, unassuming we believe that these people are fighting for our cause here. These Manchurian candidates from other countries that are raised to do what? To undermine the strength of Judah here. This woman have never did anything or said anything or stomped 10 toes down for the blacks here in America as us being from the tribes of Judah. So what did they do? They didn't want another Coretta Scott King or Martin Luther King who understand the plights of our people here to rise from the soil. So they went and got someone from Jamaica and raised her as a Trojan horse to come against our people, to change the minds and for policy that would negatively affect our people. Now, you know I don't have no problem with Jamaicans. Benjamin is standing 10 toes down with us in this church throughout the earth. And even in Jamaica and in Haiti, they call out people who's undermining them politically. She couldn't make it in Jamaica, getting on TV, stomping for someone else outside of her people. They wouldn't tolerate it. She wouldn't make it in Jamaica. And these are the people that the synagogue of Satan has incentivized. While Judah was asleep here in America, not with our eyes closed, these are the replacements they put in place to destroy us. Why is she stomping for illegals, people that she's not even attached to? Because she's paid to. She's incentivized by the same corporations that are paying, that's right, the corporate structured jobs to get rid of our people and hire the replacements. They made room, a lot of room for these new people by scaring our people into getting some stuff after the lockdowns that led to many deaths. Just so that they can what? Maintain their democracy. The democracy is keeping both parties in place, two sides against the middle to destroy the children of Israel, mainly Judah in America. So I have to keep putting it out there so that we don't let insufferable women like this trigger us into a race conversation when she's a traitor to the race. She's a traitor to the race. Don't allow her to use Trump to make you believe that she's for us. Because I've never seen her stand 10 toes down on anything. And then the guy asked her. Piers Morgan asked her straight out, do you know how many people Barack Obama deported? She said she don't know and she don't care. Oh, so you only care if a white man is doing it. When under Barack Obama, 3 million so-called illegals were deported under Barack Obama. She says, I don't know and I don't care. At that point, that alone discredited this insufferable, wicked woman. Our people are getting thrown out of their houses right now. She's silent on that. Sisters are getting cut off from programs in our communities, and our forefathers fought in wars that would allow her to be in this country as an immigrant. She came in from another country. She don't know what it is. She didn't suffer through Jim Crow. Her forefathers wouldn't hang from the trees, the willow trees of the South. She wasn't here doing reconstruction and redlining when they wouldn't give the jobs to us and gave it to the Italian illegals, the Italian immigrants that came over, the Irish immigrants that came over. Y'all better open y'all eyes. This is what the enemy looks like. And what happens is, when these traitors cannot do this in the countries they came from, because they know that Jamaica and all these others deal with their traitors, guess what? The American politicians, the sodomites, go over there and take their traitors and bring them over here and make them believe they're us. You can say what you want about these other countries like Jamaica and Haiti and all these others. There's a reason why the West just said we're not going to fund Haiti. And we'll keep Haiti at third world status. You know why? Because Haiti's fight. They fought. Even to their own detriment, they fought. So traitors can't last in Haiti. If they're on the bottom, they'll be on the bottom together. They'll take the traitors from Africa. They'll take the traitors from Jamaica, and they'll dress them up and make them look like us. And really, they're nothing more than traitors. Because if they were something, they would have stood. They would have stood politically in their country and fought for their people. See, that's what Judah does. Y'all better watch out. Y'all better open y'all eyes. This is an Egyptian model we're watching here. She's stopping for some people she don't even know that's here to destroy Judah. Our sisters are getting put out of their homes right now. Our sisters, everything is being cut from our sisters. And who's she stomping for? And guess who's behind her? Who has a battery in her back? Her leaders are LBGTQ. And speaking of LBGTQ, the first Trojan horse that deceived our people, traitorous, has some advice for our black boys. Fair use.
I think a lot of times boys need is not just exposure to one guy.
Mm-hmm. One dad.
No matter how good the dad
is. He can't be everything.
He can't be everything. And then that boy may need somebody to give the boy some perspective on the dad.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
One of the most valuable things I learned as a guy was I had a gay professor in college.
This is what boys need right now, according to Obama. He've always felt this way, folks. They put together a family and put them in front of us as a model black family, which was straight deception. It was all theater. It was all Hollywood. Your boys, what they really need to stay well balanced is a male gay mentor is what your boys need. Egypt, folks. Same thing in Egypt. That's why the Most High gave us the laws. These perverts that were in Egypt was doing the same thing. We came out of Egypt, and the Most High say, don't do what they're doing over there. They're dealing with kids over there. They're dealing with sex orgies over there. They're dealing with each other's houses over there. Man on man, woman on woman. That was the Babylonian model. That was a Sodom and Gomorrah model. And that was the Egyptian model, and has become the American model. Our boys are suffering right now. They did everything. The LGBTQ got into the family court and did everything to incentivize one side, knowing that men was going to check out. They knew eventually men are logical. We're going to look at this and say, man, listen, this game is unfair. We're not playing this game where we can work all of our lives and then you can convince this woman to get upset and take everything I earn where there's no generational wealth for my children and destroy my name. Men have checked out. And guess what? Men should have checked out a long time ago. And you would think the answer from someone as intelligent as this guy is, you know what? I think we need to start listening to the men. Let's not talk to the men and tell the men what we think they should do. Let's have a conversation where we're quiet and ask the men where things went wrong and how can things get repaired to a degree where the men are back at the table. That would have been, what I'm saying here, would have been the proper conversation. Everyone is talking about men aren't approaching, men aren't doing, and guess who they aren't asking questions to? The people they're talking about, the men. As if everybody knows what's right or what the problem is outside of talking to the people with the problem. But they don't want to have that conversation because the men will be straight up. The men would say we were better off under this Bible and under the moral traditions and values we learned from God. We need to go back to God. We need to come back to Him. We want our women back like they were, submissive and who would respect me. We want respectful women. We want to know that if we make a choice, a vulnerable choice, to make a long life decision to have a wife, we want to know that at any time, everything I've worked for cannot be taken away in an instant. Right? We need to know, at the very least, if we do decide to bring children into this Babylonian world, we must know whether or not the children are ours. Okay? We need God and family back. But they don't want to have that question because guess what? That means what? Guess what? Guess what? A man would say outright, gay people cannot be in straight people's conversation. Period. If you bi, you gay. That means you have no opinion on traditional man and woman because you don't know what that looks like. This is why they don't want to ask men. We're not saying harm should come to anyone. This is a democracy. This is America. This is what it is. What we're saying is, as men, we don't want gay people in straight business. They mind their business and we'll mind our business, which means we will make a value choice when it comes to family going forward. Which means there's some traditional laws according to this Bible. And if our family steps outside of these lines that were made by God, they're on the outside of the family. Period. If my daughter or son step out of bounds, outside the lines, the traditional values that keeps the integrity and value of my home and my name, then they're on the other side until they repent and come back and apologize. And at the end of it, agree to walk straight. So they don't want to talk to men because men will put an end to it all. And that's why men are silent. Men are already making, I'm checking out how men are operating, folks. Men are already making life choices, leaving this world behind. I'm going to tell you that. And I'm seeing it. No more are we going to deal with this thing where, and like the other day. Well, hold up. I got to go to Patreon. I'll pick it up over there. So many things I want to say. But this is where we've gone, folks. This is where we've come. Barack Obama even mentioned the manosphere the other day. And I don't care what nobody say. I believe that Kevin Samuels was assassinated. I believe he was assassinated. Not that I agree with everything that he said and the way he go about his delivery. Who agrees with anyone on everything? But guess what? During that period, a needed conversation with our people was happening. No outside conversation. It wasn't a conversation where white women can come in, or black women can come in, or gay people could come in. Straight people who wanted a family was having that conversation. And I believe, and I know that was a threat to everything that they were seeking to do in replacing us. And that's where the immigration comes in at. With family, there's protection because there's something to protect. If you destroy family, guess what, folks? You take away the fortitude and strength from a man to fight for a country. Why would you fight for a country when there's no family to protect? So it's not that I agree with everything the man said, but what they didn't like is that he got on their signal when everyone was home. And it was being redirected from this COVID stuff into a conversation that was needed for us to come together and bring our families back together before it's too late. And that's the conversation they feared. And all I'm going to say is, sisters that's doing right and following the Most High, hold the line. The Most High is going to reward you for standing with your men, standing with your family when you're living in a world that will incentivize you to go against your brother, your father. Okay? Your uncles, your husband. This is a world that incentivizes you to ridicule men, and yet you choose to do what's right. Sisters, the Most High is going to reward you for that. He's going to reward you. He see you. And you brothers, even though it's hard right now, not having the same choices to have access to good women like we did growing up, hold the line. Hold the line. Do not settle for anything less than what a good woman is. A woman who values her body, values her chastity, who's humble, who love the Most High, who respect you regardless of how much you're making. Regardless of how much you're making. And if a woman is not going to respect you because you're not making a certain amount of money, guess what? It's a numbers game. There's more women than men. And guess what? This world is a big world. And if immigration didn't teach you anything, is that what? You can choose to find a good wife within the border or outside of the border. If your money isn't enough for a woman to respect you here, believe me, there's countries where what you're making, you would be considered a rich man. Hold the line. Don't compromise. Do not compromise to feminism. Do not compromise. Do not acquiesce. Stand as a man with integrity. And you must have that integrity thing first. And if there's a woman that doesn't qualify because she want to be out in the streets and all these other things, do not risk your livelihood, your life, or your future. It's a numbers game. There's 2 million more black women in the United States than there are for black men. Okay? It's a numbers game. Who can act out of pocket, out of the spirit, knowing that you're on the outside of the numbers? You would think that if there were so many of you, right, of women, that you would act the best and be the best to be chosen. Sisters that's doing right, hold the line. Brothers that's doing right, hold the line. This guy right here, boy. Let me tell you, brothers and sisters, everybody and their mother was talking down against me, even in the neighborhood, because I was telling them this guy isn't right for anyone, let alone our people. At a time where what? I'm going to tell you, folks, at a time where it was taboo. It was actually almost political suicide. You could lose friends. It was social suicide to say that there was a problem with this guy. And before he was voted in, folks, I told everybody what he was going to do. From someplace else. The same way this Joy Reid from someplace else to undermine Judah.
The things that I think a lot of times boys need is not just exposure to one guy.
One dad.
One dad. No matter how good the dad
is. He can't be everything.
He can't be everything. And then that boy may need somebody to give the boy some perspective on the dad.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
One of the most valuable things I learned as a guy was I had a gay professor in college at a time when openly gay folks still weren't outlawed, who became one of my favorite professors and was a great guy and would call me out when I started saying stuff that was ignorant. You need that.
This is what your black boys need. Not God, not Christ, not a strong man. Now, see, this guy has no true connection to the soil here, to the country. He don't know what it is for what we've gone through here in this country, hanging from trees and all that. They got this guy from a lab somewhere and train him to undermine and to destroy our people. When does this guy lie? Only when he's talking. Because he would make you believe that was his first introduction to gay people. Fair use.
66-year-old Evie walks the streets of her Indonesian slum. She lives in a tiny room, subsisting on money she earns from washing clothes. Evie's meager existence belies a startling truth. She was once nanny to President Barack Obama. Evie says she's always been proud that the person she cared for, drove to school, and cooked for ended up being #1 in the world. The future president was just 8 years old at the time. In the late 1960s, his mother, Ann Dunham, married her second husband and moved to Indonesia. Dunham was impressed by Evie's cooking ability and offered her a job. For 2 years, Evie lived with Obama and his family in this Jakarta home, but she thinks the young Obama didn't know one fundamental truth about her. Born a man, Evie identifies as a woman. Evie says Ann Dunham might have known she was transgendered, but she never dressed as a woman in front of young Barry. And
young Barry's nanny. This who raised or watched Obama while his CIA mom was out doing whatever she was doing. There's some racy pictures out there concerning her. Indonesia. You should have seen when that birth certificate they put online to stop all the conversation concerning his citizenry. I remember that so-called birth certificate the White House put up during Obama's term. And then experts came down and said this thing was put together in Photoshop, because if it was one document, you wouldn't be able to take the name away or the signet away. They was able to take it, they was able to break it down in 5 pieces like it was put together in Photoshop. When our people are going to wake up? Witches, warlocks, sorcerers running things. It's the Egyptian model. And it's the Egyptian plan to purge the tribe of Judah. What must we do? We must come together under God and Christ. We must support one another. Folks, next week I'm flying out to look into what? More property, more land that our people will need to utilize in the event of an emergency next week. I know what they're planning against our people. And especially when it comes to those in this church, I don't want people who've been in this church, been baptized, who've been devout, supporting this church. I don't want them on the outside with no options at all when it all goes down. At least have what? Packages, food, temporary shelter, some way to pivot from one place to the next if need be, in the event we have nothing. I'm going next week, folks. I see what's happening. I see exactly what's happening. And in the midst of all this, while everyone is looking at strictly immigration, which is also a replacement model they're utilizing to undermine us and to cut us off financially, and eventually have a lot of these so-called illegals join the army and become voters so that the Democrats can have new constituencies in place from foreign countries to destroy Judah, to finish what they couldn't accomplish before immigration. Democrats are the enemies of our people and have always been. On the other side, what will we be going into? On the other side, brothers and sisters, we'll be going into S394, the Genius Act that Trump just signed, 2025. What is the Genius Act? One might ask. Well, the Genius Act, let's go through it. The Genius Act, you have even people within Congress stating that this is and will be the mark of the beast. Trump signed it into law. It's called the Genius Act. Now let's talk about the Genius Act on the other side, right? Because there's so much we need to unpack concerning genius. When you see the word genius, it comes from the word jinn, genie. Jinn, also known as the jinn or genies, supernatural beings originated from Arabic mythology, believed to be created from smokeless fire. They possess unique abilities such as shape-shifting, invisibility, and can manifest in human forms. While they are not immortal, jinn, because they're Nephilim, jinn have long lifespans and exhibit free will, allowing them to choose between good and evil actions. Like your witches and warlocks, they can choose to be good witches or warlocks, or bad or evil witches and or warlocks. It depending on which jinns they call on for whatever specifically that's needed at the time. Jinns are the spirits that come in through medium. In Islamic tradition, jinn exists alongside angels and humans, and their characteristics can range from benevolent beings rewarding kindness or malevolent spirits causing mischief. So it goes right back, folks. It goes right back to the Genius Act. This links directly to the book of Revelation. And in this act, I'm going to go over it. We're going to read this act no sooner as we go over to Patreon to show you what they're bringing in. And it's the reason they had to bring in strangers. And they've done this all over the earth So to bring the whole world to third world status before bringing in what? The cashless society. Well, folks, it's in this bill. We have to prepare for what's going on spiritually first, and then make sure we have what's tangible to help assist God's people through Jacob's trouble. And folks, that's what the Gathering of Christ Church is here for. We were born for this moment. We're going to also go into a study on the other side, a study that was done in Japan. How many people actually died listening to what? The Democrats telling them to get the stuff during the pandemic. Huh? Now the Democrats was pushing it. Why? Because they knew they would have immigration come in so that they could have new people to replace, that's right, our people as the Democrats' new voting base. Now that we can see them for the criminals they are, they have no need for us. Our people woke up. So they say, you know what? We'll just get rid of them and replace them with a new voting base. Illegals. Well, it's, folks, and this is the numbers they have that's documented. These are not the numbers where people have just died suddenly out of nowhere, where the coroner or the morgues cannot even tell you what was the reason for death. It's going to shock you. So what they were doing, folks, with this scare, they were scaring our people into getting something that would make us, they would get rid of us so that they could replace us with a new voting bloc. And we're seeing it right now with all the Asians and all these others right pressed in our neighborhood. The enemies of God are here. All right. With that, see you over on Patreon. If anyone have any questions, you can text 445-888-2759. We're going to open up the lines on the other side. And we must prepare. Okay? The Sodomites are the new taskmasters. Through Barack Obama, they were able to put all of these Sodomites in positions over us as taskmasters. That's right, folks, to undermine our family values, to come against our people, and to work with us against us politically in the family courts, to separate families, to incentivize our women to have no protection. This was their plan, and they've executed it to perfection. And the only way we'll survive through this is Christ. Speaking of Christ, man, there's so many things. Do y'all know, folks, between 2023 and 2025, that over 50,000 mosques closed in Iran? 50,000 mosques closed in Iran, folks. And guess what? They're walking away from Islam. And guess what? They're believing in Christ. Not the modern day Christianity. They're coming to Christ because they know the origin of Islam is Persian mythology. It's pagan. It's Satan worship. That's right, folks. And while they're trying to build these stinking multicultural mosques in our neighborhoods, weaponizing Islam against us in the United States, the synagogue of Satan is paying Arabs to come over here and build mosques so that they can spiritually war against those who believe in Christ. Iran closed down 50,000 mosques because they believe in prophecy that they are the country who will bring in the 13th Imam, Christ. Something is going down in this earth, folks. And you know what? You know why now a lot of people are having the conversation concerning Islam's origin? It's because the Hebrews. We started going into the history of Islam and proving to everyone out there its true origin. No one was exposing Muslims, folks, before the Hebrews, before the Israelites woke up here in America. We just thought it was just another alternative religion. And then you look in our neighborhoods, who's the scammers? Who's the cats that were always causing issues, selling drugs? Who was the people causing chaos, mainly in our communities? They were Muslim. I need y'all to think about this, folks. Who was the side hustlers and all that causing issues in our communities? The majority of the time, they were Muslims. Not to say Christians are perfect, but at least there was some conscience towards Christ. So now, even the Iranians, folks, are coming to Christ in preparation for this war. Why? Because listen to this. They call over there, the Middle East, the people that went over there, the Edomites went over into Israel in 1948. They called them the little Satan. So common sense will tell you if these people that they call the little Satan don't believe in Christ, that they would lean towards Christ for help in the war against them. They're like, man, shut down these mosques. And guess what? Why they shut down the mosques? They claim that the rabbis or the top sorcerers in Israel were controlling the genies or jinns against their country. It was the jinns or the spirits giving them intel. See? Because that's right, the synagogue of Satan temples, the top rabbis control the lower spirits within all these religions. That's right, folks. On their Kabbalah chart, Allah is lower on the chart compared to the gods they serve. So they control all the jinns of all the other religions. So he's like, nah, these guys are finding out things based on the spirits we're worshiping here in these particular Arab temples. And these spirits are conjured back to the synagogues and is giving them information against us. Folks, we wrestle not with flesh and blood. I'm talking about spiritual warfare at its height, at its highest. They said, listen, these guys are spying on us through the synagogues using spirits. When we pray, when they were praying over there in the mosque, these spirits would be under other spirits and they would speak to the rabbis and let them know what was going on in Iran. Crazy, isn't it? They shut their mosques down. Insane. All right, before I go over, I'm going to be an hour and a half on the other side. Before I go over, and I'd like to thank you all, especially you brothers and sisters who've always supported our church. Cash Apps, $ GOCC report, Gathering of Christ Church. You go there, donate. Without you donating and supporting this church continually, there's no way we could prepare for what's about to happen. And I have to say before the Sabbath come in, give you a humble thank you. I pray that the Most High hedge and keep and protect you and your family. And guess what? Whatever you've given this church isn't in vain, because guess what? We're preparing, and a lot of what the Most High going to have us have for the people, you're going to know what you put your resources into. Okay? Next week, we're flying out, and we got to do some more preparation to make sure that for the future, there's something for our people, since they're trying to just exit our people out of everything. They don't want us to have jobs. to be able to self-sustain. Guess what, folks? To starve someone out or to stop people from earning, that's equivalent to, that's synonymous, that's equivalent to killing a man. So again, I respect all of you who've always sent your hard-earning, even if it was just a little bit to you. It meant so much to us because we can do so much. So I wanted to thank you all for your support. And here it is. We're going to the other side. We have so much to talk about. And if you want to talk about what we were talking about last Wednesday, guess what? 445-888-2759. Text us. And we can do text and questions as well as what? Real-time Zoom on the other side. Do you have any questions or whatever? Now is your opportunity. We'll have it open from the time I go into Patreon for at least 1 hour. I love you. We love you in the spirit of Christ. Stay strong. And brothers and sisters in Christ, hold the line. Bless you. See you on the other side. Patreon.com/AGathering144.
The East is where we're from. The 12 tribes of Israel. In 721 BC, the Assyrian king, he took us down, we fell. With a great escape, we went through the Euphrates. The Lord held the water still. To a land where no mankind dwelt, we went. The 12 tribes of Israel. That's who we be, Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, and Valley from the Isles of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. Babylon from Panama, the North American Indians, Simeon, the Dominicans. Our highest gathering is Israel. The Arabs and Africans told us. At gunpoint. Together our wives and children then sold us. In the belly of these great ships we traveled and fed. By the rivers of Babylon we found our brothers here. A high gatherer in Colombia. Reuben from Australia. Issachar, the Mexicans. A highest gathering is right now. The Negroes.